The island of Guernsey sits in the middle of the English Channel, surrounded by the warm Gulf Stream. It's home to exotic plants as well as locally grown fruits and vegetables. Guernsey's cows provide abundant milk products. The Sholl family like to use local produce in their cooking. One particular delicacy is ormers, among other things for seafood burgers.
Oh my God, that is amazing!
Ormers can be found hidden under rocks in shallow waters. Gathering the marine snails is a national pastime in Guernsey.
When we're out and about, we're always on the lookout for things that we can eat, and things just taste great if you pick them and eat them straight away.
David Wilkinson from the Sea Fisheries Authority monitors the Ormer harvest.
Have you come to check us out?
I have, yes. Yeah, there is a penalty for breaking the law, and that varies depending on the severity of the offence.
The influence of their French neighbours can be felt in the kitchen. Fish pie with fresh tomatoes and a crispy mashed potato topping, and Guernsey gâche mêlée, spiced apple cake. Guernsey is no bigger than a small city. Cycling the coastline only takes around 2 hours. The small island has been self-sufficient for centuries. Everything from nourishing dairy products to vegetables are produced locally. And what the islanders don't use themselves, they sell from small stalls by the roadside. The locals call this sustainable concept hedge veg. Aoife is picking up some carrots and onions for dinner. The money goes into the so-called honesty box. Just over 60,000 people live on Guernsey, around a third in the capital of St. Peter Port. The Sholl family lives in a townhouse with a garden. In the kitchen, Mum Athena is searing some pork.
Perfect, well done. What have we got? Carrots and onions. Superstar. Thank you.
What, Eva, one more job.
Before you
Can
go.
you just go in the garden and get some bay leaves, please?
So there's a huge tradition of growing vegetables in Guernsey, and Guernsey would have supplied vegetables all over Europe, and so people would have sold their surplus vegetables on the hedge, and that's how hedge veg started. So there's a huge amount of glass houses over here. Pass me that pot, please, and we're just going to, like, layer it all together. Thank you.
I've got the bay leaves.
Oh, well done.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Thank you.
Carrots, onions and beans go into the oven-proof earthenware pot.
Well, it was just a way of kind of making a cheap cut of meat decent. So it's just like a stew that they would cook for hours and hours and hours.
I've always eaten everything. I've never been a fussy eater, so I'm quite happy with what I get. So I do like stews and stodgy food.
Oh, there's quite a lot of beans. I hope it fits.
Athena has soaked the butter beans overnight.
Oh, hang on, I forgot salt and pepper.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right.
What's in the jug?
That's stock. That goes in last. So just quite a lot of salt and pepper.
Okay.
Just chuck it in. Lots, lots, lots. Loads of pepper. More, more,
More?
more.
Is that enough?
Yeah, no, keep going with the pepper. That's it.
All right.
Perfect.
How long is this going to take?
All day. So it's really simple to put together, and then it takes the whole day to cook.
Simples.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it. So it's all stirred together, and now we just chuck in the stock. Just until it's like...
Drowned.
Yeah, drowned, covered, kind of.
The secret of the dish is in its long cooking time at a low temperature. On Sundays past, islanders would put their pots in the baker's oven and use the leftover heat to save a little money. From January to the end of April at the full or new moon, and in the following 2 days when the ebbing tide exposes the rocky coastline, the beaches of the small island come alive. The Sholl family is also out and about. They're looking for a rare delicacy, ormers, a species of marine snail. Strict rules governing their collection have been in place since the late 1990s, when the snails were threatened with extinction. Limits were placed on the number of permitted harvesting days, and a minimum size was introduced. Since then, population numbers have recovered significantly.
Oh, there's one. Aoife, look, we got one. I don't know if that's big enough though. Look, it's got like a little fringe around it.
Let's measure them up.
Doesn't look big enough. Yeah, it's too small, look.
The ormers cling to the underside of stones.
It's a really good place to find them because you can just wade around, because you're not allowed to swim for them or dive for them. You have to only shore gather them. So at the very low tide like this is the perfect place to come. And it's not particularly sheltered or warm, but the ormers kind of like it here, so it's a good place to come.
Oh, look.
Oh, wow. Wow. Do you want your stick? Yeah. Is it big enough?
Yeah.
It's lovely, look. See all that pink in there?
Yeah.
Shiny on the inside.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
The search for the snails has been successful, but are they all large enough? David Wilkinson from the Sea Fisheries Authority is on patrol.
Is that too sensitive? It's quite a big rock, to be honest.
Hello.
How's it going?
Not bad, yeah.
Have you come to check us out?
I have, yes. So there's your ormers, which you've got. So that's the shell length, and we can see that it is 94 millimetres.
The minimum size is 80 millimetres.
Above 80 millimetres.
Cool. So we're not going to get in trouble?
No.
What's the biggest ormer you found or measured?
Probably the largest ormer would be in the order of 125 millimetres in shell length. That tends to be towards the upper age limit of the ormer as well at that length.
What do the ormers eat then?
The ormers eat algae or seaweed, different varieties of seaweed. So the reason they're on the intertidal area is because that's where their food mainly is. Good, the catch is all legal. So
Brilliant.
this rock has been turned over by people ormering, and you can see the animals have been bleached here on the underside of the rock. So we always recommend people, when they finish searching for the ormers, is to turn the rock back over, and that way we try and maintain the biodiversity of the intertidal zone.
The fresher the ormer is served, the better they taste. While Athena and Aoife prepare the ingredients, Brendan tenderizes the cleaned snails on a rock. Athena is trying out a recipe of her own, snails fried in butter. Traditionally, ormers are served as a stew, but pan frying really brings out their unique flavour.
They look lovely. They do look nice.
The sizzle sounds really nice.
Yeah, it sounds gorgeous. I think anything is delicious if you pan fry it in butter.
How long does it take to cook?
I don't know, I think about 10 minutes, so I think they're nearly done. And they smell really good. It just smells like calamari.
It just smells like smoke for me.
A few drops of lemon, pepper and salt refine the dish.
I'm just chopping it up a bit, test a bit. Oh my God, that is amazing. Wow. That is really lovely.
The very first Ormer burger, for the Sholl family at least.
It's lovely as well, isn't it?
It is.
Mmm.
Just so chewy.
It's not, it's lovely.
In the garden, Athena is making jewellery out of Ormer shells. She's a goldsmith, and the shells are a welcome addition to her handicrafts. Together with a friend, the Ormers are given a coat of lacquer.
And that one, look, because you've got that really pretty colour inside, and then that's got all like barnacles on the back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Really
it's got
cute.
that green little
Yeah.
before, and then as soon as the bunder goes on, it just brings
Yeah.
all the like little personality that it has.
Yeah, it just makes so much difference, doesn't it? We're coating them with a layer of bunder, which is boat varnish, and that just makes them really strong and suitable to wear, but it also brings out all the colours in the shell, so you've got that lovely sort of iridescence, so they look just like they would if they were wet in the water.
The snails grow in a spiral shape. Each time round, they make a new small hole for taking in fresh water and excreting waste. Since only fully grown Ormers can be collected, Athena has bought some small shells from Guernsey's last remaining Ormer farmer. To affix the shells, she drills a small hole in the closed upper part.
This size of Ormer, this is like about a 3 centimetre Ormer, so it's perfect size to wear as a pendant. So when I've put the wire through, I make a loop at the top and then you just pass a chain through and it's perfect for that.
After 8 hours, the traditional bean stew is ready for serving.
Get some more bread.
Looks good.
It does, doesn't it? It smells nice. Wow. Mmm. Smells amazing. But I think the longer you cook it, the better it gets.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The next morning, David Wilkinson is on a monitoring trip, this time on the high seas. The marine territory that he oversees has quadrupled in size since 2019. It's a challenge for David.
See, we've got a fishing vessel coming up just on the bow here.
Number 1 man forward till 11:45.
Morning.
Morning!
Everything good?
Yeah, not too bad.
Plenty of catch?
There's a reasonable lobster.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah. Yeah, nice.
Another reasonable crab. Well,
Excellent.
as you can see, there's not much in there yet, but I've only been out about an hour.
Yeah, you working down the south too?
Yeah, all the way down.
All for the day.
I've got enough here around the hub while Seb's got a lot there.
Okay.
That's a proper Guernsey crab.
The marine environment is always changing, particularly as we enter a warming period. But I think we generally have a very good biodiversity. We have a wide variety of habitats, from sandy to rocky, large intertidal zones, and those are monitored not only by us but by our own environment department.
Large ocean trawlers are not permitted to enter Guernsey's fishing grounds, something which has helped maintain the delicate equilibrium of marine life. At the Sholls, they're making a Guernsey gâche mêlée. The name is French and means literally mixed cake. The ingredients, flour, butter, sugar, spices and apples, can vary in quantity depending on what's to hand.
Let me show you an easy way to peel the apples, because you're pushing it down like that, and it's easier if you hold the apple up and then pull it towards you like that. And it's just easier because you can hold the apple still. Perfect, well done.
Athena mixes the sifted flour with butter.
How should I cut the apples?
Okay, so if you chop each apple in half and then cut them into kind of little slices, and then what you want to do is make like kind of bite-sized pieces, yeah? So just cut little chunks.
Athena adds sugar and spices, pieces of apple, water and an egg. The blend of spices has everything a good British cake needs.
So it's got cinnamon, nutmeg and mixed spice in it, which just brings out the flavour in the apple, and it just makes it smell lovely. It reminds me how my grand's house used to smell at Christmas. You'd walk in and it just always smelled kind of comforting. So it's a really good way to get a bit of apple into a sort of cake mix, make it a tiny bit healthy, but also all the apples that weren't perfect enough to bake whole, you just chop up and stick in the cake.
Can I crack the egg?
Yeah, cool, you can crack the egg.
The cake will bake for an hour and a half at around 150 degrees before it's packed up for an outing to the world's smallest chapel. It's just over 5 meters high. Originally constructed by the monk brother Deodat in 1914, the tiny church is a miniature version of the Sanctuary of Our Lady of Lourdes in France. The chapel was demolished not only once but twice by its creator, first because the friars didn't like it, and then because the Bishop of Portsmouth couldn't fit through the entrance. To decorate the insides, the islanders donated old crockery as well as shells.
Oh look, there's ormers.
Oh yeah.
There's some up here as well.
Babies.
Up here, look.
Yeah, do you know, those almost look different because they are pointy. Maybe they've filed them into a point just to make it look like sort of flower shapes. What do you think?
So watch your head here.
Brother Deodat's work was completed in 1923, but the mosaic is in constant need of replenishment and repairs.
There's some babies.
Oh yeah, cherubs. Well, their bums showing. Cherubs are like
angels.
Like angels. And they would always be naked, but they just give them like a little bit of something, sometimes just to cover them up, but not always. Sometimes you see they're quite slow.
Oh look, Olympic shells.
Oh, look, they're in a spiral. I love it. Oh, that is gorgeous. I think that's new. I don't remember seeing that before. That wasn't like that when I was little. They've added that recently. Oh, that's beautiful. The first time I came here was when I was a kid. I came here in 1983, and it was just like this, but the whole thing wasn't quite so decorated. I think the top section was fully decorated, and down here in this section, I don't think these door frames were here. It was a lot darker. So they've done a really good job in the last couple of years of just making it a bit lighter. Right, picnic time. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, please.
The grand finale of the trip, Guernsey Gâche Mêlée, still warm.
Yum.
There are traces of French culture all over the island. The port city of St. Peter Port, or St. Pierre Port, lives predominantly from its fisheries. Every morning, the freshly caught fish and seafood are brought to the central market. Athena is shopping for tonight's dinner. She's invited some friends and relatives.
Hiya. I'd like to make like a fish pie. Can I get some white fish, please?
Yeah, do you
and
like
some
cod
smoked
or
fish?
haddock? Cod or whiting? I've got local whiting.
Whiting,
Whiting,
please.
local,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Perfect. That's lovely. Saves me a job. Thank you.
Did you say smoked or salmon?
Smoked, please. Yeah. And the yellow, please.
The yellow one?
Excellent. Lovely. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Athena is making something special for her guests, a fish pie. First, in some vegetable stock, she heats an onion studded with bay leaves and cloves.
Are you supposed to do that?
Yeah, I'm studding the onion with the cloves and trapping the bay leaf on as well. So you've got all the flavour that comes out, and then you can just hook it all out. It's all in one tidy little parcel. That's it, and now we need the milk.
The secret of Athena's pie, she uses the full flavour of the fish for the sauce.
You poach the fish in the milk, and then you make a sauce from that poaching liquid, and it just, then you add alcohol and you add cream, and it just smells amazing. It's really rich, really comforting, and a kind of proper, you know, Guernsey dish that's perfect after you've been on the beach or something.
Athena stirs the sauce into a roux until it's creamy.
And then the mustard, please, honey. Can you get a big dollop of mustard, like fill the whole spoon if you can, and pop it in? Perfect. Just plop, splop, splop, splop. And I'll do that. There we go. Lovely. Thank you.
Oh, it does smell like wine.
It smells like wine and cream and fish and deliciousness. But you have to keep stirring it, otherwise it will stick to the bottom of the pan and then it will start to burn. So you just have to keep it moving.
Now Athena fills an oven-proof dish with fish, prawns, boiled eggs and poached spinach and pours over the sauce.
Cool, that's a lot of sauce. Can you just cover the whole thing with tomatoes? Try and like, sort of just make a full layer of tomatoes. It doesn't have to be pretty because mashed potatoes go in on the top.
Athena sprinkles chives over the tomatoes and mashed potato. The hallmark of every perfect fish pie is the crust. Using a fork, Athena makes ridges in the mashed potato, which makes the grilled crust even more crispy. Grated cheese for a bit of tang, and after 10 minutes in the preheated oven, the pie is ready to eat.
Oh, wow. There you go. Oh, look at that. Oh, my goodness. That is lovely. Oh. I get the first one. Delicious.
there are any.
Yeah.
Ideal accompaniments for fish pie are asparagus, broccoli, and good old green peas, all of which were grown by the guests in their own greenhouses.
They're just stomping around on the beach as well, aren't they? James goes, oh.
This is very good.
I thought your family would be in.
What's interesting, I've never had tomato in my fish pie before.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, really?
Good, yeah.
Well, that was my stepmum's recipe, and it was her mother's recipe. You put tomatoes on top, and that makes a layer, and it stops the potato sinking into the sauce. Otherwise,
makes sense, yeah.
yeah. So otherwise, the potato just sinks and ends up soggy.